I kind of disclosed myself to her, telling her, that I was autistic, and a while downwards, she kind of said, people are taken aback that you say you're autistic, like kind of like taken aback.
Is that it? Was it at that moment you decided to hide it?
Well, it was kind of like a moment where I felt,
You felt like you didn't want to express your autism, or I mean, express that you have autism as much as you did before that moment.
well, it it's like I question myself, should I be ashamed of telling people this? Because I didn't feel like I was doing anything wrong.
So it got you thinking.
Yeah, it got me thinking. And with the anxiety I have from my autism, she also said, in a way, I see your anxiety as incompetence, which I was taken aback by. And
Even if you read between the lines of what she just said, I feel like that's just justified. I don't, yeah, I feel what you're saying. I feel what you're saying. Like she told you, like, and did she even knew what autism was to, or no?
ah, you
Or
know
did she
what?
know what it was?
This was the first time she ever worked with an autistic person, I think.
So maybe she didn't know that maybe autism came in like different varieties or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, either way though. I mean, either way though, it's still like it's still not. I mean, if I was a supervisor, I feel ashamed because whether I found out about it or not, I wouldn't be. I mean, because to make a person like you hide autism just because they said you're using autism as an excuse or something
Which
like
was
that.
not the case.
No, but yeah. I mean, but some people. I mean, like I said, some people could say that, but it's like that's.
Yeah.
I'm
But
sure. I'm sure, but like I said, I'm sure that's all in the past now. And I'm
yeah, oh yeah,
sure, and
it's the
and like
past.
I
It
said,
hasn't.
I'm sure, like you said, you told people with autism, and they're, like I said, they're more understanding than she was,
Oh yeah, there was more people.
obviously. So, I want to get to the final question, and I'll get to the rest. I'll get to the rest of the audience we got here, and maybe they got some questions that they would like to ask us. So that's where we are at as we are getting to the final question. But how do you tell people now that you have autism, or how do you show people
Well,
just when the moment happens?
like if we're doing like an autistic some something if I'm doing something autistic related in like outside of like in a like at a talk, a conference, or something like that, I do disclose, be related. I don't disclose at work just because I want them to see who I am
First?
first before I explain. I don't see that as like negatively.
No, I understand that. I think that's and like I said, I think that's a great defense mechanism. Sometimes, like I said, people can take advantage of it, and I'm glad you do. I'm glad you do still like tell people that you do in a way, but don't do it so like much. But I'm the type of person that do like to meet a lot of new people. But as a 26-year-old and learning so much about the real world, I mean, I don't always just go out and tell every single person, stranger, I have autism. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like every social situation, I do like meeting new people a lot myself. So I would tell them that I have autism as soon as I show them my cartoons, or maybe as soon as I or any icebreaker I do, and
Hmm.
then I tell them I have autism. Or like I said, if I get nervous, I can tell them that as well. So those two are the ways that I tell or show people that I have autism.
Right. And and when I get to know a person outside, like outside of that, like friends, acquaintances. If I get once I get to know them to a point, I would disclose it.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely,
and
absolutely.
I found that most people who I disclose to are very open about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're accommodating at this point, you know.
Hmm.
And especially from how far we came, Bobby, we've gained so much respect from so many people in our lives that, and I would love for people with autism right now, whether they're watching this now or not, to really learn from this, because I would love for, I mean, and I've said this in a a couple speeches before.
Hmm.
I would love to encourage people to show their obsessions as an icebreaker from what they do, because it helps them practice social skills, and it helps them learn from people like they've done for me.
Right. Absolutely.
And and ladies and gentlemen, that's how I became. That's how we became. That's how we became the men we are today.
Hmm.
That's how it is.
Same here. You know.
So thank you guys very much for listening to the questions, the stories that we have. I hope you guys have learned what we've talked from what we talked about so far. I would love to see some unmuting, because I would love to hear from you guys some questions towards us, or even my mom. She's one of those people who has helped me out a lot in my life, as well as my dad as well, but he could not make it, as he couldn't make it, but that's okay. But any questions from the audience that you guys are thinking about? You can do your unmuting if you want. Bobby, if you want to, I don't know if you do the unmuting,
Yeah.
if they do the unmuting, but yeah, you can do the everybody can do the unmuting, and we can get some questions to get the ball rolling.
Hi guys,
Hey, Mom,
can you hear me?
I can hear you
Yep.
loud and clear.
No, I just wanted to comment on something that Robert said about disclosing when you have autism. I liked how he said that he waits a little while and feels out the situation. I think that's a good idea, you know. But in certain situations, like with you, Nick, with the police, it was very beneficial for you to disclose that right away, because you had run-ins
So you're saying
with
like
that.
there's both ways, like it works both ways. It really does.
Yeah, you have to feel the situation out.
Right.
But for you, Nick, I know it's worked out for you to disclose it, because you know, you have anxiety when it comes to situations, and a lot of times people read that wrong. And when they realize that there's a reason behind that, I think they're more accepting. For you, it's worked out well. I imagine in the workplace, it's different. Sometimes you might want to hold back on that, you know, under I guess it depends on what type of workplace you're talking about, but you know, but I liked how Robert said he waits and reads the situation. I think that's a good idea. But no, I liked your talk. I liked how you talked about when you found out. I remember never hiding it from you, but I waited until you asked me questions, you know.
Or
And I
until
think
they recognize the like you said with the police, they recognize the quirkiness and they take it the wrong way.
exactly. Sometimes that happens. Like in situations like that, I think it's important, you know, to disclose it right away, because they might take you had situations like that, you know,
Oh yeah.
where they felt something, you were nervous for a reason, and
Oh
not
yeah.
just
No, I
because you
remember.
had
It was
anxiety,
horrible.
you know. But that would be a situation where you want to disclose right away, you know. But I liked how you talked about, you know, reading the situation and you know, judging it by that way. And then about when we finally talked about, and you asked me questions about when you that you knew something was different, you know, and I finally talked to you about your diagnosis and everything. I think you were in middle school already.
I remember you told, I remember you told me you were when I was just about to go to school in the morning.
Yeah.
I sat on the couch and I asked you what it was because I didn't know what I didn't really know
And
what
I
it
felt
was.
like it was a
It
relief
was always
for
on the
you.
commercials, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It
I felt like
started
it
getting
was a
out there
relief
more and more
for
and
you to
more,
know
and
that.
I thought autism was like what this was all the symptoms of cerebral palsy at first. That's what I thought.
But I think it was good for you to know, because I think it made you feel more comfortable, you know, and that it wasn't nothing wrong. It was just part of you, you know,
Yes.
and I think that was a good thing for you to know. But the other thing, what was the other thing I was going to comment about? Can't remember now. It went out of my head.
Yeah, hey, don't worry
But,
about that.
I really liked your talk.
I appreciate it.
I enjoyed your talk.
Bobby,
Yes. Hi.
hey hon, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hi. Hey, hi, honey. The reason Bobby just wanted to kind of clarify or verify some things with you real quick. I know you remember, but when you were 10, that's when somebody at CHOP told us that you might have Asperger's. Remember?
Right.
It was in
Yeah,
one of your annual reviews kind of with a neurologist. And then, and you're right, when you were in teenager or sophomore year, things spiraled. And then when you saw the psychiatrist after your appointment, after your trip to the hospital, then they did tell you, and it seemed to make more sense to you then. Seemed to
Yeah.
understand it better. And I do think you felt somewhat relief,
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
Because it gave you something to go by and understand what was going on, because you have an older sister who was, you know, did things differently and than you and I also watched kids, boys, a lot of boys, and you knew, but you had some friends who were very devoted to you too, and that was good.
That
They didn't seem,
really helped me.
yeah, they didn't seem to care growing up because you were a nice kid. And then, and just remember too, I don't know if you remember this, but your much younger sister, Teresa, who's 13 years younger than you, remember, we didn't tell her anything was going on until she started to mention something or ask questions, because she didn't grow up with you. I wanted her to know you as her brother, not from anything else, right?
Right. So you were you kind of were what's the word? You were I kind of lost you there. When did you tell Teresa?
We didn't tell Teresa anything about you or your autism because I wanted her to know you as her brother first.
Right.
And then when she was 10, she started wondering about certain things, maybe the pen cabs or, those kind of things. She didn't understand. And I didn't, at that point, that was when we did explain to her what was going on. But she first, of course, knows you as her brother, not anything else. And,
Right.
Because I thought that was really important that Teresa did that. The only thing she doesn't like that you do is put your hand on her head. But that's besides the
that
point.
has nothing to do with the autism. That's just
No.
aside from the sister joke.
Yeah, that's your brother sister joke. But so I just wanted to share that with you, Bob. I mean, of course, we're extremely proud of you. You know that. And but you have worked through a lot of things, and you know that too. So keep going, buddy. You're doing a great job, both of you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Also, I forgot to point this out, but I did do some research in regard to masking autism, and some of the repercussions the studies have been done include one study in which they found out that in 2019 that they would a 2019 study and a 2018 study showed that that the autistics who hit their autism, there was an increase of depression, stress, stress, anxiety, autistic burnout,
Yeah.
which is like when you like hit so much and you have to like hide everything in. It's like bottling it up,
Yeah.
as well as like suicidal behavior. Now, Adam, I see you put up a book there. What's that all? What's that?
I love that, you did mention the anxiety because Sarah Kerchak wrote an awesome book called I Overcame My Autism, and all I got was this lousy anxiety disorder. So, overcame it is in quotes, because, everybody likes the inspiration porn, except for actually listening to actually autistic people. Shut up and inspire us, and, then go away so that the autism industry can keep making its money, off of autism parents and kids. But yeah, that anxiety is definitely there, that stress. And in fact, I've even had some of our fellow autistic people say that, it's gotten to the point where they can't tell if their face is their face or their mask.
That's interesting.